Bloodshed for Lament, a call to hope for the freedom generation, spoken word poem by Tando Tullia Keke. We are the freedom generation, the world's catalyst for change. As a captive of hope, I invite you to join me here in my lament. Be warned, I'm not going to churn out the same garbage to the masses. This is a sacred space. Here we speak only the Father's truth, or we do not speak at all. Here we live in freedom, or we are dead among the living. Let the blood of our fathers, mothers, sisters that cried out in hope for peace, freedom, and unity not be shed in vain. Come, walk with me through my journey of healing and forgiveness on Robben Island. As we enter the prison cells, can you hear the voices crying out? Did you notice the sounds echoing off the walls? As you, free man, free woman, stand in this hallowed place, hallowed by the unspeakable atrocities suffered here, where our fathers were manacled and incarcerated by an unjust system, prisoners of injustice, the stench of death surrounding them. How is it that they sang songs of hope? Why would they even pick up an instrument to play? Why did they choose to attend school, improve their minds, read books, and educate one another? Why would they pray when they were deserted and by all appearances forsaken by God on this very island, left to die at the hands of the men who were nursed and raised by their mothers? Whose ears did their cries reach when they were in solitary confinement? Which family funerals could they attend as they were torn away from the mainland? Cut off from families, friends, loved ones, and desperate for news of home, they were imprisoned by injustice, but they remained captives of hope. Let the blood of our fathers, mothers, and sisters that cried out in hope for peace, freedom, and unity not be shed in vain. And yet, you prisoner of hope, you stand free, trampling sticks on this hallowed ground, soiled in the blood of their beatings. You speak and you sing, and your voice catches the wind as the gentle sea breeze blows over your face. Do not forget, O prisoner of hope, that your freedom came on the backs of your fathers. They readily laid down their lives as they suffered a living nightmare that would forever ravage their sleep. Can you look on their scars, see their tattoos, and the lump on their heads where the wardens beat them? Can you look at their bruises where the whip and the bat lashed and exposed raw flesh? Can you look in their eyes as the officials spat on them and kicked them until their very legs buckled underneath them? Can you watch as the gang of men descended upon them, ripping apart their manhood? Can you listen as they called out profanities, so vulgar you would cringe to hear them. Can you see where the chains tore away their skin and their blood ran like a river? Blood gushing out like water from a rock. This is your river of freedom, born from unspeakable pain. Let the blood of our fathers, mothers, and sisters that cried out in hope for freedom, peace, and unity not be shed in vain. Now you, free man, free woman, living in this time of freedom and peace, how dare your heart be consumed by hate and fear? Who are you to want revenge? Who are you to say violence is the answer? How would your words and acts of violence and revenge honor your brother's memory? He who was torn apart by trauma, woken up in the middle of the night by the secret police. He who was beaten and stuffed in a bag like a toy. He who was tied up and aimed at for target practice as the bullets seared through his body like a western on TV. What of your uncle? They bound him and tied him to a log and roasted him over the fire and watched and laughed, ha ha ha, as the flesh melted off his body. And they laughed, ha 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 ha, as the smoke consumed his breath. And they celebrated as he screamed and died. What of your cousin? They repeatedly beat him and locked him in the boot of a car. And from carbon monoxide, he suffocated to death. What of your father? They ganged up on him and they beat him and left him bleeding under a tree, to bleed to death, leaving his remains to be the food of wild animals. What of your grandfather? They strung him by the neck to a tree and watched as he kicked and the rope choked the life out of his eyes. What of your mother and your sister, whom they raped to fulfill their carnal lust? Oh, what of your mother and your sister, whom they beat and urinated on as they tortured them for information? O prisoner of injustice, O prisoner of hope, to heal you must tell your story, and let us lament through your pain with you. And as you ask God for the strength to learn to forgive them, if you stay locked in the prison of hate and fear, then the evil men have triumphed over you. The greatest victory is to learn forgiveness and to let go of the hate you swallowed like poison. Because you were born for unity and forgiveness and reconciliation. That is your lasting legacy. And let the blood of our fathers, mothers, and sisters and brothers that cried out for hope, for peace, freedom, and unity not be shed in vain. Oh, free man and free woman, you were born for more than injustice. It wrenches my heart when I hear you call our late heroes and current leaders the foulest of names. When you steal the food from the mouths of babes. When you rape your brothers and your sisters to satiate your great virile lust. You blame everyone but yourself. You are the great victim of apartheid, and they are the evil perpetrator of all your problems. Time has come for us to take responsibility for our choices. This freedom generation has a choice to rise up in our inheritance of victory as those born to change history. We are giants of destiny. This land belongs to all who love it and are loyal to it, no matter what race or creed. In unison, let us fight to free our minds from the past chains of captivity. Let us reimagine the land in which we dwell as free men and free women. Let the blood of our sisters, brothers, mothers, and fathers that cried out in hope for peace, freedom, and unity not be shed in vain. You are a giant of destiny. You are free to live a life of love that will resound through eternity. Let me introduce you. This is your sister. This is your brother. Yes, they do not look like you, or think like you, or profess the same faith as you. But here your purpose is found, to serve and to love one another. Let our love annihilate all residue of hate. Let us reach out in love. It is not too late. Where our brothers and sisters of the same or a different hue knew not a kind word, let us speak the truth in love. Where they knew only hands of violence, let us reach out and open our hearts to love them. Let them know we are here, standing by their side, standing here with arms wide open. Let them know the Father's love that does not divide. Let them see compassion, His compassion radiating through our eyes. Let His love be our freedom. Let His heart of compassion lead us out of the prisons of hate and fear as we take our rightful place in His government of freedom and hope, where united we serve our fellow man, different or the same, with no agenda but to love and to call to hope. And let the blood of our grandfathers and fathers and grandmothers and mothers and sisters and brothers that cried out for hope, for peace, holding on to hope, for peace, for freedom, for unity, not be shed in vain. Thank you.